everyone, and welcome to Club 2, Episode 4 of Relegation Rescue at Sparta Rotterdam with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, if you've been with us from the beginning of this series, you'll know that currently we are with Sparta Rotterdam in the Eredivisie. We took over on Christmas Day with the only thought that this was the team at the bottom of the division and we need to find a way to get them out of the relegation zone and rescue them from relegation for the second half of this season. And it's been a challenging start. We haven't played many games, 4 games so far. We played Feyenoord and Venlo and lost both of those games. And then we picked up a draw in the last episode against Den Haag, which was all right, but they are one of our direct rivals, so we were hoping for a little bit more. And then it happened. We got our first win against Vol. If we go into the competition page, you can see that in the Eredivisie, we do still sit bottom. Den Haag were directly ahead of us, and so we should have won that game really to give us a chance. Zwolle are just outside the relegation zone, so that draws us closer to them, which is a really positive result. You can see that we are 9 points away still from safety, but we have just begun to turn a corner, I hope. But the big problem is that the rest of the season, we've got some big teams still to play. Eindhoven, Ajax, Twente, who are just around us again in the Eredivisie. You can see they're in 14th. So there's some difficult teams, either because they're at the top of the table or because they're directly around us. So it's going to be very, very hard to get out of this sticky situation. But we'll give it a good go. Today, we get Vitesse. And they are sitting mid-table. So again, a tricky game just because they are doing better than we are this season for no other reason. And we've also had a couple of injury issues, unfortunately. In the last couple of games, Hammerleinen, who normally plays down the left-hand side in the wing-back role, he's out, and he's out for about another 4 weeks, which is a problem, 2 to 4 weeks. Fortunately, Rochelle has come in and done pretty well for us, but it's still a bit of a blow. And Orsar is also out for 6 to 7 weeks. Not really had much game time since we came in. He's a central midfield option. You can see that at the age of 34, though, he's not the best player that we have potentially. Although he's got some good mentals, and so he hasn't really had much game time. So he's not going to be a huge miss. But just as an option, every player that we have is important. So what that means is that we stick to our formation. We stick to the mentality that we've had. And we've got a team today against Vitesse of Fabry in goal, Matthew, Benamar and De Braal in central defence, with Sanchez, Reinders and Bruns in central midfield, with Abels on the right, Rochelle on the left, Velvik and Thor up top. And pretty much everybody else is on the bench because we can name a 12-person bench in the Eredivisie. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So the assistant did the team talk and suggested we just carry on from where we left off in the last game, our 2-0 win, which was really important for us. Hopefully we can do that today. Hopefully we get some momentum from that game, but Vitesse are going to prove very tricky and we'll have to see how we go. And of course, we're at home today, so hopefully that helps us, having the crowd behind us. But it's Vitesse that get the first chance. But Abels does a very good job down in that right wing-back position to take the ball from him. And we get to set up our own attack. It's very nicely sent into Velvik and back into the central midfield and out wide to Rochelle and runs at his defence. Rochelle's come on and done a very good job for us in the absence of Hammerleinen, which is very, very positive. We've got a couple of people for every position, and that's the way I like to build my squads. So he's decent enough, and he'll do a good job for us, but having that lack of option is a bit of a problem moving forward for a couple of weeks. But there we are. 22 minutes in, a little bit disappointing, a little bit slow. I will just... I won't mention that just yet. Reinders, and... have we managed to get a goal? Is there any form of offside there? Don't think so. We'll just allow that to run through and check it again, though. And it's Veldvik, and he's picked up a couple of goals recently. So Reinders with the cross in, right to the far post, header in from Matthew, and it's Velvik that then pokes it home from very close range, and we go 1-up, and we pile on the pressure again. Oh, is that a penalty? Please tell me the referee's going to blow for a penalty. He's going to have a look. I think it was. You could see that just as that ball came in, there was a little bit of an issue under the ball. And I think one of the defenders has pushed one of our guys. And we might well have a penalty here. Ref's checking the monitor. taking his sweet time about it, coming out, making the VAR symbol. And what's he given? It's a penalty. And we've got a penalty in the last match to go 2-0 up. This will take us to 2-0 up if we can get it. Veldvik again took it last time, I think. Yes, it will be him again this time. And we go 2-0 up. And Veldvik is getting the goals all of a sudden, which is really positive. Such a good thing to find a striker that in this kind of circumstance can get you a few goals. And so far, he's beginning to show that in the last couple of games. And we take a nice, comfortable 2-0 lead. And look at these match stats. They've not had a registered shot at goal, let alone on target. And our possession stats are good. And I'm absolutely amazed and delighted with how this has gone so far, leading up to half-time. So we're at half-time. We're going to go in and we're going to praise them for that. Passionately say, I'm very happy with how things are going. End the team talk there. And just before we go back out, there is something I wanted to tell you about, and it's worth doing it in the middle of the game because most of you are probably still here watching this. So tomorrow is Sunday evening. I don't normally put a video out on Sunday evening. Tomorrow is an exception, and it's going to be a different video, not an episode video, but go and check it out. There's a couple of things I talk about in there, and one of them is a very small tease for a new series that's coming out onto the channel. So look out for that tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock GMT time, 5-minute short video, but make sure you go and check that out. And then, that will explain where we're heading for the next few weeks in terms of a new series that's coming to the channel. So I just thought I'd mention that whilst we're here. So let's go into the second half and see whether we can maintain this dominance. You can see that Veldvik is obviously the star of the show, but defensively we've done okay. Corner kick comes in though, and on the half volley it looked like a really, really rocket of a shot, and they go 2-1. This is a very good corner kick that comes into a dangerous zone, and he runs onto the ball and powers the shot home. Lovely technique, you've got to say, but a slightly disappointing goal to give away at the point of just coming back into the second half, having had such a positive in the first half. So let's just let the game go through to 66 minutes, and we're going to check out which players that we can switch around a little bit here, and we'll probably change the mentality as well. So Thor's not having the best of games, and so we'll put the youngster on, Van der Volp. He'll come on up top. And we've got Bruns in central midfield, so locally will come in. And it was suggested in the comments, and it's been suggested a lot through all of my series, because I changed in my Rolling in the Isles series Doku into Loku Doku, that every time there's something similar we should change this. And the suggestion was we should call this guy Lokily Dokily, I guess. And whilst I could do it, it would make too many of my saves feel too similar to me if we do it all over the place for our Lord and Saviour that is Loki Doki, who had such an impact on my channel. So we're not going to do it, but I do appreciate the thought behind it. And here and there we'll find someone that is worth doing it with, I think, in all of our saves going forward, but not all the time. So what else have we got we can do here? We've got Abels on the right-hand side. We're going to take him out, and we're going to put Duarte out there. Not necessarily his best position, but he can play it reasonably well. Those are the 3 substitutions. We're going to pause the game at that point, and we are actually going to go to a defensive formation and see if we can hold out a little bit. And we're just going to, what we're going to do, we're going to ask them to tighten up and just see if we can see this game out at this point. But it's Vitesse with the ball again, and a chance for them to put more pressure on us at this point in the game. And who knows, we might have to change all of our settings in a second if we cause ourselves a problem. And it looks like we might have. The guy went in for a slight half-hearted attempt at the ball and didn't get the ball and nudged the player enough to put him off of his balance. Is that enough to give a penalty? I suspect it probably is, otherwise the game wouldn't have stopped for it. And a penalty is given, and we're going to lose our lead potentially unless our goalkeeper can do something about it. So come on, Mr. Goalkeeper. Can he stop it? He does. Brilliant. Fabry, the goalkeeper, parries it round the corner, the side of the goal for a corner kick. Corner comes in. The danger's not done yet. Can we clear our lines? And we do, but only for another corner kick. And this is still a lot of pressure from Vitesse in 69 minutes. There's still plenty of time for this game to run through. So we've got to find a way to get a handle back on the game again. Reinders there with a good interception up to Veldvik. Holds it up very well. And we killed a game at that point, and the highlight goes. But that was a little bit dodgy just for a moment. And now our defensive structure has changed into that defensive way of play. And hopefully now we can see this out. I think we're worthy of a win today. But Vitesse have got some quality enough about them to cause us problems, as you saw then off that corner kick. But it didn't quite work for them again. And I'm breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief, really. Can we just see this out and get another vital win? And we do. 2 wins in a row. Such a good turnaround. It doesn't matter how long it lasts, as much as it's just an amazing opportunity to see actually there is something about this team that can get victories here and there. So it gives us a little bit of hope, which is the most important thing in this save. Because had we lost that game as well, it would have been soul destroying to think how we could get out of this predicament. But look at this. We are a game ahead of them, absolutely, but we're now equal on points with Den Haag. And slowly, we're just creeping up a little bit. We've managed to pick up about 7 points since we took over, and we're just showing that we're not totally done just yet. It's going to be hard, but maybe not totally impossible. So that gives us a little bit of hope, which is really amazing. So I hope that we'll continue to see this progression over the next couple of games. Oh dear, I can't pronounce some of these. Groningen? You tell me in the comments below. I'm sure somebody will be able to, but that's who we've got in the next game. In the next episode, though, it doesn't get an awful lot harder than a double header against PSV Eindhoven and Ajax. And we'll probably play both of those games in the next episode. Why not? Double misery for us, I'm sure, but it will give us a real sense of where we are as to how well we can compete with them. If I could get a draw from one of those games, I'd be happy. So join me for that and see whether I can. In between time, I'll play the team I can't pronounce. Somebody's going to tell me how to pronounce down in the comments, I'm sure. But until next time, thanks for joining me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that like button. Don't forget the Sunday evening video. Come and find it at 8 o'clock. A different video, but only 5 minutes long. It will tell you some interesting stuff, I hope. So look out for that. But until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.